It's good to look for an expert, a lawyer in that state where they're hurt, because even if you go to your local lawyer or find somebody in your own state, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have to come and find somebody like me.
If you're injured while driving outside of your home state, is it important that you get an attorney in that state? Well, that's what we're going to find out, because that's what we're going to ask the lawyer today. Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and my guest is Wyoming attorney Grant Lawson with the Metier Law Firm. Grant, good to see you again. Thank you for making some time to answer our questions.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Appreciate being here.
So unfortunately, there's been quite a few stories out of Wyoming recently of drivers who were injured. Even in one case, a couple was killed in a collision with a truck. They were from out of state. Is this a common thing? I would assume maybe because of tourism and a lot of trucking industry, this could be an issue that happens quite often in Wyoming.
Yeah, especially we have, the 2 major interstates that run through Wyoming, I-80 east to west and I-25 north to south. And what we have is, a large trucking industry population, so to speak, that travels through Wyoming to get from coast to coast or Midwest to West Coast. And we have a lot of people, not only from our state, but travelers, people traveling the country, visitors on vacation, tourism, etc. And so it is unfortunately, a common phenomenon. And the other thing we have here in Wyoming that's really, really a factor is the weather. And we have, unfortunately, horrendous weather conditions on both of those roads. And anytime between October and even May, definitely into April, the severe weather conditions can lead to tragic consequences, because people are not used to driving in those treacherous conditions, especially the truck drivers who don't come from this part of the country and can't appreciate what it's like on these icy and snowy and windy roads here in Wyoming.
So someone's in a collision, let's say they're injured, they're not from Wyoming, but the collision happens in Wyoming. What's your advice? Do they get somebody from their home state? Do they get an attorney in Wyoming? What's your advice?
Well, we do a tremendous amount. I personally do a tremendous amount of co-counsel cases with attorneys from around the country who have clients who are injured in Wyoming, but they're from a different state. Mm-hmm. They go out, they find an attorney in another state, and then the attorney from another state realizes, hey, I've got to have somebody in Wyoming who knows Wyoming's laws, who knows the courts, and can do this case. And so we end up doing a lot of those. I think if I was going to give a suggestion to folks out there, if they're injured in a particular state, it's good to look for an expert, a lawyer in that state where they're hurt, because even if you go to your local lawyer or find somebody in your own state, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have to come and find somebody like me to actually co-counsel and work the case up and do the case right here in the state, whether it be Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, or wherever we're working in the Rocky Mountain region.
So local rules and regulations, and those are different from state to state, maybe from region to region?
Well, there's a lot of things, a lot of variables. One is knowing the courts, knowing who the judges are, having an understanding of how that's going to play out, where to file, your time requirements, your statutes of limitation, discovery rules, the local rules, making sure that you can identify whether the vehicles are still here in Wyoming, if the vehicles were severely impacted enough to where they're being stored somewhere in Wyoming, making sure that those are getting inspected timely, and making sure that all the letters are going out and people are preserving evidence. And so, yeah, there's a lot of variables, a lot of factors that go in to why it is that you got to have somebody in the state where you're going to be filing the case.
So you mentioned discovery and evidence collection. Talk a little bit about that. What is involved in, say, a collision between an automobile and a truck, and why is it so important that it be, if the driver is from California, that attorney in California probably not going to have as easy a time doing that as someone who's local, right?
Well, it's very true. We have the connections here. We know the experts. We know the mechanics. We know people that we can call on a moment's notice to get to a location to inspect a vehicle, to a lot of times do a download of the ECM, the electronic control module of a truck, making sure evidence is being preserved, and making sure that that letters are going out to everybody who needs to understand that, hey, we are intending to bring a claim. You need to preserve all evidence and make sure it doesn't go anywhere until we have an opportunity to inspect it, have our experts come and look at it, and take every step necessary to make sure that we can prosecute the rights of our clients.
And I would assume, Grant, timeliness is important too. If somebody say they're injured and they wait till they're out of the hospital and they get back home to their home state and then they contact an attorney, a lot could be lost in that time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be assured if you're involved in a collision with a commercial motor vehicle, the first thing they're going to do is call their insurance company and their representatives. And those people are going to be on site within 24 hours, taking pictures, collecting data, and they're going to be ahead of the game. And so it's important that even if someone is in the hospital, that if they can do it, or if they can have a family member start making those phone calls to get plaintiffs, attorneys, and representatives engaged, that they can stay on top of the game, so to speak, and making sure that they're getting an opportunity to collect the data and the records and all the evidence that's necessary to figure out what happened, why it happened, and make sure nothing gets lost, most importantly.
What about, without getting too deep in it, what about attorney's fees? Let's say they hire an attorney in their home state and you in Wyoming or wherever this may happen. How does that, do they have to be prepared to pay extra, twice as much? How does that work out, just basically?
Right. So every time that we come across a situation, every attorney that comes to us with a case that wants to co-counsel, they have a contingency fee arrangement, just like we do, where the client's not paying anything up front. It's all covered by the lawyer. And a lot, 9 times or 10 times out of 10, we're able to work an arrangement out on the same kind of basis that those lawyers have with their clients in other states. We don't ever see attorneys stepping in to try and help somebody and requiring their clients to pay. And if that was to happen, that would not be the arrangement we would do, because we don't charge our clients. We don't take any money from our clients until we successfully resolve the case.
So there's really no good reason not to get a local attorney involved if you're injured in one of these situations.
Absolutely.
Great.
That's correct.
Grant, thank you. Once again, helpful information. I appreciate your time. Thanks for answering our questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. You guys have a great day, and everybody stay real safe.
You too, buddy. That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been attorney Grant Lawson in Wyoming with the Metier Law Firm. Remember, if you want the very best information, or you want to be able to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, you go to AskTheLawyers.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Rosenthal with Ask the Lawyers.